Hello, I'm Weldon Oliver. I'm with Oliver's Art, and today we are going to paint a heavenly scene. I have a blacked canvas. This is a black high gloss plastic polyurethane finish, very smooth to paint on. First thing I'm going to do is pick up a little Oliver's Art medium, put it out in the palette. I'm going to get some into my brush. I'm going to wet this canvas, something to blend the paint on. I don't want it thick. I want a smooth coat, and again, there's nothing to see. This is just medium to help the oil blend and stretch. Something to wet that canvas to make the oil move a little more smoothly. My first step is I'm going to pick up my palette here with my 1-inch brush, and I'm going to introduce some of the backlighting that I enjoy, taking a tiny bit of white, not a lot, just a little bit, and I'm into dioxazine purple. The white helps me see it a little. I'm going to place it where I know in this painting the middle kind of goes. A little bit up above. I have a figure that's going into my heavenly scene, and I need the purple for background, but I need to see where it is. My next step is just a little bit of white and French ultramarine blue. I'm going to bring some of that bluer foreground shadow down in this corner. Very lovely combination. Again, not too great, not too large of it. And last, I'm going to get just a little white and a little bit of phthalo blue for the sky area. And I'm leaving plenty of dark to work from. Join a little here, maybe a little on that side. And I have all the shadow for background I need against that black surface. So from that point on, I know that the body of the subject is going to go right there. I have that purple shadow. I'm going to move right in now. I'm using a fan brush. Reach over here, wet the fan brush in Oliver's Art medium. Pull down a little bit of white. Again, a little bit of the mauve or purple. And I'm just going to begin working these brush strokes out like this. Those directions look like feathers. That's a little bit of a hint of where this scene is going. A little more purple on the brush. I'm just going to rub a little bit down this way also. Just a little motion going for the scene there. And now I'm going to start to lighten this area a little bit. Got a little bit of rose and white for sharpness of color. And that slight flicking motion you see is what creates those smooth blended areas, those feathered away looking places. A little more white on the brush. This time I'm coming down with yellow ochre and a bit of cadmium orange. A little white, bring it up a bit. Yellow ochre is very bright, and I'm going to begin with what I know to be the central place, the chest place of my object here. Notice how it's a little bit triangle, the way the shoulders go across, then angles down to the torso. Above would be the head area, and it too, a smaller triangle affair. We haven't put any light in anything, so these are just basic shapes. Not too much paint on the brush, but I'm just going to roll out a little bit of the yellow ochre around it. It appears to be almost hair or light. And now, using an oil painting technique, I'm going to wipe out that big brush. And I'm very gently going to just stretch the paint in the direction it goes. And you can begin to see the beginning of a shape of what will become an angel in the heavens here when we're done. A little smoothing of the paint. Wipe the brush off. Again, the medium helps it move. And I'm going to diffuse this area where the light would be above the head, where the hair, halo, and light would go. I'm just going to diffuse that. And it begins to create an all-around glow. Picking up the brush again, a little white, a little bit of that yellow ochre and orange. Just going to introduce the top edges of the arms. They come right off shoulder blade and they sweep out. I always like mine a little bit asymmetrical. There go the wings of the angel that we're about to do. Of course, he comes inside like this. There's the belt. And the tunic will begin to shape with downward strokes pulling across. And we'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm going to take my fan brush, a little more white. This time I have cadmium orange. I'm going to light the object now. Little orange, little yellow ochre. I'm going to come up here and start building the light that comes in. He needs a little bit of light on the edges of things, feathered edges. Notice again, it's the strokes and how they go out. And the fact that they overlap some of the purple helps. Blend under there a little, just slight feather motions. And you can begin to see how the angel's wings bend out from the sides. A little more white or yellow ochre. A little brighter, a little more here in the area that should be lighter, front part. And of course the face. Face again is just loosely shaped. A little bit above, here for light. And the yellow ochre highlights the edges again. While using these two colors, I'm also going to bring the front part, the golden part of the tunic, which comes down this way. It drops more straight out the bottom edge, slopes down to the side. I'm beginning to build light that I can see. A little bit of white and cerulean blue, beautiful summer blue. Just working the blue so I don't get it too green with the yellow ochre. There's some of those royal colors that go in robes. This is beginning to build the front part that comes out closest to us. And even up in the sky where we first put our first blue light, there's a little bit of light from above here. I'm going to reach over now and get red and the purple together and come up with magenta. Magenta is a beautiful red purple, found in a lot of royal clothes. I'm adding it in amongst the lighted feathered areas. They work in and among the other colors, leaving the darker areas here. And also in the front, I believe. I'd like to see a little bit more color there. And now I'm going to wipe out the brush. The remaining lights will be done mostly with the white. Very much like the space scene we did the other week. We've put our colors down, and now we need to lighten them by using white in the brush, but run a little bit along the edge of the wing tops. And there is that proverbial white feathered angel wing that we're so familiar with in a lot of our ancient art. Again, it's soft motions. Feathers tend to become very smooth and sort of blur as they go out a little bit. There. It's all made possible by the wet paint. And of course, oil is such a great medium for that kind of mixing. A little bit of light in the middle. A little bit of light down the front of the tunic as well. I use these gradually flowing shapes, and of course the face would also be just a little bit brighter where it is. And I'm going to diffuse that area around the head a little bit. I'm using the 1-inch brush and I'm stippling. That is a slight tapping motion, allowing the brush hairs to just pick up the paint and move it. And it gives that floating, glowing effect of things behind it. Now I'm free at this point to add any other corrections or any other additions that I like. I rather like those bright colors, almost golden colors that I get with yellow ochre and a little bit of orange. I find them very beautiful for highlights. Notice how they very much brighten up what we're doing here. I'll even put a little more back in there. Many times when I paint, I go back with the lights and I combine. I combine the colors that I consider to be the glowing colors. I like my objects to glow. A sense of golden light in this object. And with that, I'm going to come back and I'm going to add the stars. And in this painting, we also add glitter. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm going to add the final highlights to this painting right now, so I'm going to move it down to the table. First thing I'm going to do is get some white Oliver's Art medium, come up with some of these very pastel looking magenta purple. Let's spray those on. And they just fly off the fan brush right onto the workpiece here. Now while I'm here, I'll dip the handle into it, to this color I've made, and I'm going to make a few larger ones because they're needed for perspective. I need to see them at edges, and then I need to see them work their way in. Wipe out the brush real quick, and I'm going to move right on now to white and phthalo blue. Come up with very pretty pastel blue stars. I'm going to spray those in and add a few more of those with my fan brush handle. The blue stars will stand out where the red ones don't. It's all very useful. Again, I always use broken boxes, broken triangles, because in space what we see when we look up in the heavens is we see constellations. I think I'll just put in a couple more of those. There they are. And now wiping out the brush, I'm going to move rather quickly over here and see if I can't get some white and some of the yellow ones going here. Again, it's the colors and the medium. These are much lighter. Notice how they show up a little bit better, forcing the viewer to imagine that they see something moving from the outside of the canvas toward the middle. I also like to use a little bit of the cerulean blue. That's that beautiful summer blue when I have the chance. That's this blue over here. The bright, bright summer blue looks almost turquoise. It too has its place. All these colors that just show up, like a few large ones. Put a few in the middle. I'll even borrow some of that color I have here. Light cerulean blue does show up against the purples very well. And last will be the white stars. These stars are the brightest, and they draw the viewer's attention the quickest. And the fact that the white may not be pure white due to what's on your brush is quite all right. All that matters is that they're quite a bit whiter than everything else. And they really show up bright, especially against the black background. Just like space, lots of stars and constellations. Want to make sure I get a few out toward the edges to contrast with the black, causing the viewer to see a framed effect on our picture. And of course, there's always a little bit of more light and action in the middle. In this particular image, I enjoy employing a device that many people use in modern art. I have here glitter. Let's start out with the purple glitter and put it where it goes. It goes where the shadows are found. And the blue is done the same way. I put it where the blue is up toward the top light, a little bit down in the bottom shadow light. I use the gold where the light goes. That would be around the head area, the upper part of the wings here, the chest area of the tunic. Any place I want accented with light that seems a little golden, even a little down the front. And last, The silver I'm going to use across the front where it seems to come out, where the tunic seems to rise and come out to the front of the canvas. I find that the silver glitter stands out better than just white glitter. It seems to show it better in the light. There can be a little bit of silver light above the head. And now let's have a look at our finished piece. I love heavenly images. I love them in Christmas cards, and I love them in astrophotography. I'm Weldon Oliver. Thank you for painting with me this session. Come and join me at Oliver's Art.